Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to live stream on the topic that is Webhooks. Today with the team Axiom, we'll be exploring what is Webhooks, why Webhooks are used, and obviously we'll be going for various examples, practical demonstrations on the Webhooks so that the concept of Webhooks will be very clear to you. We set up an agenda to explore Webhooks as it is a need of today's application. In simple terms, to understand webhooks means event-driven API call. Means, in short, whenever you are connecting to different applications, right? As you know, every application having its own UI, data processing logic, and the data logic. But sometimes we need to have the data and resources of other applications to be called in the current applications. In short, two different applications want to interact for the data and resources. So to have that interconnectivity, we need to use webhooks. To understand this, let us say, for example, it's an extended version of web sockets. For example, if you develop a chat server where chat server is on a particular IP address and a particular port number, and from various client locations, all users want to interact, chat with each other, so they'll connect through that sockets by giving call to the that IP address and port number and the message. They can interact with that various users available online over there. This is a simple example of a web socket. But to have an extension of it, let's say, for example, if anyone want to reserve an hotel, then what he will be doing? He'll be going to that particular website of the hotel. He can check all the tariff and the availability and book the hotel. This is the normal single application. But let us understand that there is an interface who might be providing hotel reservation consultancies or any other UI, probably assisting for the hotel reservations. So once the user is logged in, he can have a comparative analysis of the various hotels, not only single hotel, various hotels available, their tariffs, and he can able to book any hotel from there. So how it is possible then? Obviously, all hotels data will be available to your applications through the APIs. So internally, that all the database, all the applications are connected through APIs. As we know, APIs means application programming interface. A developer develops that APIs, right, with the endpoints, and we are integrating that all the APIs to your interface, so that whenever required, you can call to that API and fetch the data from that server. To interact many applications at a time, or to transact the data of various servers, APIs plays a very vital role. Webhooks provides us a call to all the APIs as per requirement, as per the events triggered by the user. To connect the two or more applications, we have uh, various other softwares also available that are called as Zapier, where we can create the zaps and we can integrate the two applications together so that they can exchange the data and resources. But sometimes, if that interconnectivity, obviously, for that reason, that all interconnectivity calls need to be, or the interface need to be provided by that softwares, then we can able to connect. But sometimes, if it is not possible to connect through Zapier's or any other connectivity softwares, then we can write the code for event driven API calls to connect the applications and share the data and resources. And here is the use of a Webhooks. So any application, with the help of Webhooks, you can connect to another application, and on the basis of the events triggered by the user, you can call those all the APIs and fetch the data and fetch the data or deal with the data and resources available in the other application. Let us explore these all the fundamentals of Webhooks. At the same time, how we can integrate different applications and share the data and resources among. That is the agenda of today's live stream. I'll be introducing with you with the team Axiom. They'll guide you through this entire process of exploring Webhooks. Over to team Axiom.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. I, Sejal from Axiom. Today we are presenting Webhooks. So let's take a look from the agenda of today. Firstly, we will go for what is Webhooks along with why we use Webhooks. We can also go for how Webhooks work with example of Webhooks. We can also understand difference between Webhooks versus APIs, along with what are the tools used for managing Webhooks. Lastly, we will go for conclusion with the implementation. So let's start by understanding what is Webhooks. Webhooks are one of a few ways applications can communicate with each other, and it can also allows you to send real-time data from one application to another whenever a given event occurs. Webhooks are basically user-defined HTTP callbacks or small code snippets linked to a web application. Webhooks are triggered by specific events. Whenever that trigger event occurs in a source site, the webhook sees the event, collects the data, and send it to the URL specified by you in the form of an HTTP request. You can even configure an event in one site to trigger an action in another site. This real-time communication enables seamless integration between different systems, facilitating automation, data synchronization, and enhance user experience in modern web development. Webhooks are typically used for similar tasks that require real-time updates, such as updating a customer record when they make a purchase or triggering a notification when a new post is added to the blog. Next slide, we will go for why we use webhooks. Webhooks are used for various reasons, offering multiple benefits like real-time updates. Webhooks provide real-time notification, allowing application to react immediately to events as they occur. This ensures that data and information are always up to date, enhancing user experience and system responsiveness. Next, automation and integration. Webhooks facilitate the automation of workflows by triggering actions in response to events. They enable seamless integration between different applications and services, allowing developers to build complex systems that communicate with each other effortlessly. Then third, we have enhanced user experience. By leveraging webhooks, developer can create interactive and responsive applications that deliver timely updates and personalized content to users. This leads to a more engaging and dynamic user experience, timely user satisfaction, and retention. Then we have efficiency. Unlike polling, where applications repeatedly check for updates at regular intervals, webhooks only trigger requests when appropriate events occur. This reduces unnecessary network traffic and server load, making webhooks more efficient, especially in high volume scenarios. Then we have scalability and flexibility. Webhooks offer a scalable and flexible solution for handling event-driven architecture in modern web development. This scalability makes them suitable for applications and systems for all sizes, from small scale project to enterprise level solution. Then lastly, we have reliability. Webhooks provide a reliable means of communication between applications, ensuring that notifications are delivered consistently and without delay. Moving to the next, we will go for how webhooks work. We have three steps: event occurs, HTTP post request, receiver process request. First step, we have event occur. An event occur such as a new user sign up, or a message being received, or a payment being processed, happens within an application. Then second, we have HTTP post request. Once the event occurs, the application sends an HTTP post request to a predefined URL, that is the web URL, along with related data about the event. Then last, we have receiver process request. The receiving application, that is the webhook endpoint, processes the incoming request and takes the appropriate actions based on the event that received. This could involve updating a database, sending notification, or triggering further processes. Next, we have webhooks work on request or response mode, which is based on HTTP in form of client and server application. So first we have client application. In this application or service that trigger an event or perform an action that requires notification to other system. It could be a web application, mobile app, or any other software that can make HTTP request. Event trigger. This represents an action or event that occurs within the client application. It could be anything from a user sign up for a service, making a purchase, or updating record. Then we have webhooks registration. When an event occurs in the client application, it sends a request to the web registration endpoint of the server application. This request contains information about the event and the URL of the webhook endpoint where notifications should be sent. Webhooks endpoint. The webhooks endpoint is a URL provided by server application where notification about events will be sent. It typically listens for HTTP post request. Then we have server application. In this application that needed to notify about the events happening in the client application. It could be a backend server, a third-party service, or any other system that can handle HTTP requests. Event handler. The server application receives the webhook notification at the endpoint. The event handler is responsible for processing the incoming data, performing any necessary actions, and update in its state accordingly. Then response. Response is in the form of acknowledgement. After processing the webhooks payload, the service application send an HTTP response back to the client application to acknowledge receipt of the webhooks notification. This response typically includes status code indicating the outcome of the request. Lastly, we have action. It is an optional. Depending on the outcome of the event handling process, the server application may take additional actions such as sending notifications to users, updating databases, and triggering other workflow. By using webhooks, application can communicate with each other in real time, enabling seamless integration and automation of various processes across different systems. This diagram shows the flow of data between the client and server application when using webhooks to follow event-driven communication. Now, I hand over to Rashmi for next presentation.
Thank you, Sejal, to give me the opportunity to present next slide. Now we look at how webhooks are used in the different industries. Webhooks are used e-commerce, social media integration, software development, notification and alert, payment processing, and also data synchronization and workflow automation. So first, e-commerce. Webhook facilitate order processing, inventory management, and customer notification. For instance, when an order is placed or shipped, Webhooks can update inventory level and notification customer about their order status. Second is social media integration. Social media integration platform like Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn use webhooks for the real-time notifications about user interaction like new followers, mention, and messages also. This enable developers to create integration and automate responses. The third is software development. In this sector, webhooks are commonly used for continuous integration and continuous deployment, that is CI/CD pipelines. Notifying system about code changes like triggering automate test and deploying updates. The fourth is notifications and alerts. Webhook set up the notification that we will send a message over the internet whenever a specific event occurs. We hook into an event and use the web to send a notification that is happen. The next is the payment processing. The payment API support webhooks event that notify you when a payment is created or update. For example, when a payment is completely paid, then a payment update event is generated. The next is the data synchronization. In ongoing process of synchronizing data between two or more devices and updating changes automatically between them to maintain the consistency within the system. The last is Workflow automation. Webhooks are method of sending information from Insightly to an application outside of Insightly. They can be sent through workflow automation actions when a record is added or updated. Moving to the next slide, the difference between of webhooks versus APIs. Webhooks and APIs are both mechanisms for the communication between different software systems by they give the different purposes. APIs, that is the application programming interface, are interface that allows the different software applications to communicate and interact with each other, typically through the predefined endpoints and methods. Webhooks are automate messages sent for one application to another when a specific event is occurs, while APIs are typically used for the requesting data or performing an action on a remote system. Webhooks are used for a real-time notification and triggering action in response to an event. APIs are like a door that you can open to access the data or functionality, while webhooks are like alarms that notify you when something happens. Moving to the next slide, like tools used for the managing webhooks, like Zapier, Postman, NGRock, RequestBin, and also AWS Lambda. The first is the Zapier, an automation tool that connects the different apps and services, including handling and webhooks. The next second is the Postman. Firstly, it's known as the API development tools. It can also be used to test and debugging webhooks. The third is the NGRock, a tool for creating secure tunnels to localhost, useful for the testing webhooks on a local server. The fourth is the request bin, a simple tool for the inspecting HTTP requests, helpful for the debugging webhooks. This tool can help in setting up, testing, and monitoring webhooks for various applications and also services. The last is the AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda not specifically designed for the webhooks. Its function can be used to handle webhooks requests in serverless architecture, providing scalability and flexibility. And lastly, we have the conclusion. Webhooks are a powerful mechanism for enabling real-time communication between different applications and different services. They facilitate event-driven architecture, allowing one system to notify another about specific events or updates. Here are some key points to summarize the concept of webhooks. The first is real-time communication, second is the event-driven architecture, third is simple integration, fourth is event payload, and also we have webhooks registration and webhooks endpoint. Overall, webhooks represent a valuable tool in the modern web development toolkit, empowering developers to build responsive, scalable, and interconnected systems that can seamlessly interact with each other and deliver enhanced user experience. And here are some references linked. Now I hand over to Sandeep sir to live demo. Over to you, Sandeep sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'm here to present how we can work with the webhook. So, so for that we are let me share my screen first. So for that we are interact with two application, which is Google Sheet and own created application. I have created an application that we can say uh, sending a from here we this is application for the registration form. Assume that this is a complete application where we can send multiple events to the webhook. As you already know in the PPT that how the webhook works. So from this application we are going to send the event uh, to webhook. So here make.com is, so from here we can create a webhook, which is from that webhook, with that webhook we will connect to application, that is my application, and this make.com, and this make.com will connect with the Google Sheet. So after receiving an event uh, with the message, so that message will be entered into the Google Sheet. So let me show the Google Sheet first. So here is the Google Sheet, which name is webhook demo, and the sheet name is sheet 1. So let's see the webhook out. So here we have created a custom webhook. Here it is, or you can add a new webhook like uh, like this. So simply you have to edit this and add module, and simply search webhook. See, webhook is, so correct. I have already created a webhook, so let's create in a new scenario first. Now search webhook. So here create webhook, save, and you have to click save. So see, they have provided a webhook which will listen your event, whatever you event generate, that will be listened by the this webhook. So this webhook we had to add in our application for sending the event or posting the actual data that you want to process, or with that event you can do another process according to your requirement. So let's go in our scenario. So uh, here it is the webhook that have I had to insert in my application. So let's see here, this is a sent event page. What we doing here, so we are created of registration form, we are accepting the data and posting this data as a message with that event, that is user registration event is occurred. So here it is that webhook, whenever form submit, so this webhook will call and data will be posted there. So we are sending a event here, so that webhook will listen and do the further process. So we are sending post field, and with header, that is our content type is JSON, and sending the current data length. So here is the form, which is this one. So let's send an event. So here let me show you some configuration. So maximum number of result you can add according to you. You can add 10 also. So at a time it will accept 10 result or process 10 result at a time. simply click OK. So already I have created, so I will not click OK. So here, so we had to add a what we have to do when event will happen, that registration event will happen. So what we have to do, we have to post all that registration form data into the sheet. So we had to add Google Sheet. So how you can add? Simply add module, search Google Sheet. See, you will see the suggestion. There are multiple application. You can automate with that. So here, Google Sheet. We can add uh, any row updated. So we will select updated row. So whenever there is a what sorry, we had to add a row whenever event is generated. Simply click. So see, it will ask you to for the connection. So simply sign in with your Google account, and after adding Google account, simply you have to provide your Google Sheet path. You select by path. You can add your manually also. So simply it is in my drive. So which spreadsheet you want? I want this one, Webbook demo one. Then in that sheet we want, there is two sheets. So I want first sheet, as you see here. This is a sheet 1 and sheet 2. So yes, the table content or that sheet content header. See, this one is a header. So in first column here, in first column A, B, C, D, E. So in this column, what you want to write? So I want to write here it is event type in first column. Let me increase the, here it is event type. Simply drag and drop is this, or you can also select that. So it will automatically add there. So we don't want double data. So event type will be entered into column A. Similarly for B, user ID. Then similarly we will do username, email, and then timestamp. So see, PHP will sending the timestamp in a numerical format. So we have to convert it into the date format. For that we have to parse it. So here it is. You can see format the date. When you select format the date, so the function will occur here, and you have to simply provide your that variable which is timestamp in a parse date function. So it will parse that date into this manner. Here it is. In this manner it will parse the date. Simply click OK. See, whenever webhook will trigger, so it will start working. So see, I have click it on, and immediately whenever the event will happen, that webhook will work and save the data into the sheet. Let's see how it will work. So let's reload this. Simply write user ID according to you. Enter email. This is a for the demo, so that's why this this application form is 3 fields. You can add according to you. Just click register. See, event is successfully sent. So let's say that data is entered into hook or not. So here it is. It is entered in the our Google Sheet. In your case, it may be a CRM. So after filling the form in other application, the data will be saved into in another application. Assume that it is CRM. So this is one example. So sometime we want some response from this server also to our applications. So see, let it be load. So now we from this Google Sheet we sending some responses in, to our application. So what sheet we are accepting? Again, same sheet we are accepting, and all the data we are accepting from the sheet. Whenever the webbook demo this sheet will update, then this will capture that updated data and send back to our own application, to this our own application. So for that we have created in this on this URL we had to send the this data. So we are making the post request. With that post request we are sending the data uh, in this example. We are sending same data as we receive. You can add a response that data is successfully saved in the Google Sheet or in the database or in the CRM. So for right now I'm sending same data back to the application, our own application. So query string, which is a tie up with the URL. So all the data we are adding. So simply click add, write a name and put the value. The value will be the event type. There are then we select all the values one by one: user ID, username, email, time. Then the body type will be the row and the content type will be the JSON. And in the body we are sending the content, that is event type, again here in the format of JSON. So JSON simply a key value format. So here key, this is the value we are accepting from the Google Sheet. Pass the response and click OK. So we are ready. So see, let's run it. See, it successfully sent the data to our application, which is lastly updated. So let's see the first how it is working. So whenever I am posting that data into the that URL, here it is into this URL. In this URL, that is data list. Then that data will be received here. So you can see on the server also the data is received or not. You see we are did post request. So the not here, here this one. So we are receiving the data and we have to process this data. So after receiving data, we are logging is first into webhook.log page. So you can see here the Rahul Borkar we have entered lastly. So here this is the first data which is coming from the server, and this is the data we have did the parsing make in a formatted type. So we have format that data into the array by using JSON decode. So after JSON decode, we again did the log, which is this one, and this is the first one. So after receiving the data, we will saving the data into the database first. Then we will display the data on the application. If you didn't save the data, so newly added data will be shown, but previous data will be discarded on the front end. So that's why we are saving it into the database, then displaying it into the web page. Let's see. So here it is. The previous data is also added, and the newly added data is also showing here. So in this way, we can use the webhook and get the response back from the server. So this make.com will providing webhook and accepting Google Sheet as a second application. Now see the let's say second demonstration, which is here it is. So there is also two application is interacting here. So in this case, I am using same application, which is this one, that is Google Sheet. If you want to add another application, you can. So we are I am accepting the question from one application and giving the answer to the another application. So in this example, I am using same application. So let's see the scenario first. On the make.com. Let it be load. Here it is. So this is one application and this is second application, which is connected, and this is third application. So first application and the last application will be the same. In this example, you can add different application too. So from here, we are getting the input, processing that input and giving the answer. So here we are getting the input as a prompt, and so here simply you have to add your account, your path to the worksheet, and your sheet name. My sheet name is prompt. So here it is prompt. Simply click OK. Then here it is a chat GPT, which will process my question and give the answer back to me. So whenever the data will be added into the application in this Google Sheet, so it will automatically receive that data and process it and send the response back to the another application or same application. So you can schedule it. For now, I am using on demand. I will update it first, then I will call this automation, you can say. So from here, this providing the webhook to this application. So from here, the event will generated, that is new data, new row is updated or new data is added. So you have to took the input. So here, so you have to add your chat GPT. For that, you have to use your API key of the chat GPT. So how you can get that chat GPT API key? So simply you have to create chat GPT account on OpenAI. I already created the account, so you have to first register yourself, then you have to log in and click the API part. So from here, You can see API key is available here. You can create or generate new key. Just remember, whenever create new key, it will display only that time. After clicking done, so it will get disappeared. So simply copy it as you see here. The please note that we do not display your secret API key again after you generated them. So remember that to save it in another place, or you can delete that and create new one. So see, currently we are using the free subscription provided by ChatGPT. You can use that. Simply create that key and paste here and simply click save. So see, I'm using chat one. So let's see. Let it be load for. Here it is, chat one. I can verify it. I can delete it. See, all the collection is available here, like Google collection, connection, and chat GPT connection. It's taking time to load. Okay. After setting the things or chat GPT, do the some small settings too. Means what question you want to process. So see, I am using chat GPT prompt completion, chat model according to you, whatever you selected. So you have to buy that model from the chat GPT. And what is the prompt? So I am accepting the question, means that here it is, the question column I am accessing, and giving the response in the answers. So you can see here some or question and response or answer is already generated here. That is what is hope. So they have provided some, the ChatGPT will provided some response here. So let's put the some question here. That is, what is the NG rock? So the answer will be generated by the, so here new row is updated, means new row updation event is generated. So that will be sent to the webhook that will listen this data and process data and give the response. So I'm accepting question here. So answer contain almost let's say 50 to 60 words. So you can modify it according to your token provided by the ChatGPT. Simply provide OK. So what will be the where will be the answer going to be saved? So here it is. We have to provide the application. In this scenario, the application is same, which is Google Sheet. So answer will be the in answer we are going to put that answer here. So let's run it. Let's see. Here it is. So ngrok is a software that acts as a tunnel between the internet and the local server, allowing external access to the server. So why I use this question? So we are doing same. So our application on the local host. So how we can expose our local host to the internet? So this ngrok doing the same thing. to exposing our local host to the internet, because the make.com on the web. So how he will access, how it will access my application. So this ngrok will do the things for that. Okay, so these are the two applications for the demonstration of the webhook. So hope you have understood so how this webhook is work. So if you have any query or any question, you can ask. So that's it for today now.
Hey, thank you, Team Axiom, Shazal, Rashmi, and Sandeep. You did really fabulous job to give us good elaborations about webhooks. We get a clear understanding related to the how event-driven API call works and how we can connect two applications to share the data and resources among. As it's a real industrial need nowadays to integrate two or more applications to share the data and resources among. Though as REST APIs are useful, but at the same time, webhooks also plays a very vital role while sharing data and resources. Such kind of latest industrial topics, if you are interested in, do connect us, join us, contribute with us, comment us, so that we all can explore these latest industrial technical stacks and ready to serve the industry in the better way. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you enjoyed this session and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so